for another edition of the Phil Taylor Jones Show. It's going to be sort of in conjunction with the 9/11 tribute that we did yesterday. I hope that if you saw it, you enjoyed it, and if you haven't seen it, we would sincerely invite you to go and take a look. Today's episode, however, is going to deal with the aftermath of 9/11. Do we feel safer today than we did on that tragic day? I'm Phil Taylor Jones, your host, and let's talk about that thing. Well, after the tragedy, after the cleanup, and after getting plans and architectural designs and all that sort of thing together, the financial district is now a beautiful place in New York. As we said before, there is a beautiful gleaming tower, just as beautiful as the Twin Towers were, the Freedom Tower, and all of the adjacent structures that were built around it for memorials to 9/11 and, what have you. Beautiful. Sorrowful to say, no, we're not any safer than we were on that day. Why? Well, I can answer that in one word: government. It seems that not only our government, but governments all around the world are stupid, weak, disgusting, because they don't take care of their citizens. You take this imbecile that we have in the White House right now. Oh, bastard. He has done nothing to make our country safer. In fact, he doesn't even care about America. Why he wants to be president, I don't know, but he doesn't care about America one iota. He shows it with everything he does. If it's making stupid deals with known terrorists or harborers of terrorists, he'll do it. If it's supporting Islamic extremists, he'll do it. If it's supporting Muslims or the Muslim Brotherhood, he'll do it. If it's disobeying or disregarding the Constitution, he'll do it. In fact, he's done it. Any deplorable thing that you can think of that this man can do against America and her people, he'll do it or has done it. So how can we be safer? I think back to that day when they noticed that airplanes were being utilized to destroy and kill. They immediately shut down all air traffic. Nothing flew. And over that course of a few days, it seemed rather strange to say, but I don't know that birds got the message, but I didn't see too many birds flying. It was just eerie not to look up in the sky and see some kind of activity, whether it be helicopter, fixed wing aircraft. It was very eerie, but it had to be done. No ifs, ands, or buts. It had to be done, and they did it. Well, one might think, if Islamic terrorists or extremists who are terrorists perpetuated these crimes on America, why wouldn't there be an immediate shutdown of any of them coming into the country in future? And just as we did when the Japanese came over and bombed Pearl Harbor, we gathered them all up and put them in internment camps. Oh, a lot of people thought that was the most terrible thing. We were at war. They came over here and bombed us. Bombed the heck out of us. And we're going to let a bunch of Japanese run free around the country. We didn't know whether or not they were in cahoots with the ones that came over and bombed us. So I think the government at that time made the correct and right decision. And I will stand behind that till the day I die. Same thing should have happened with these Islamic affiliates, whether they be terrorists or not. They came over and they bombed our twin towers. They killed hundreds of thousands of people. They took over our aircraft, used them as weapons. They decimated our Pentagon. They were on their way to the White House. If the passengers of Flight 93 hadn't wrestled that plane out of the hands of the terrorists and took it down, there would have been more problem. But yet, they still live here. We don't even know where they all are. We don't even know what they're all planning. Oh, well, Phil, they're not dangerous. All of them aren't terrorists. While this may be well and true, let me ask you this. How many of you would be willing to go to just any old car dealership, just not a reputable one, just any old place that sells cars, purchase a car, and then the next day, without having it checked or anything, take it on a long trip across the desert? How many of you would do that? Sure, you might make it. But there's an even greater chance that you might not make it. You know nothing of that car. You don't know about the tires. You don't know about the brakes. You don't know what the maintenance schedule has been on that car. You don't know anything about it. So it's a crapshoot. Well, the same thing with accepting all of these strange Islamic affiliated people in our country, especially post 9/11. You don't know what's in their hearts. You certainly don't know what's in their minds. Experience has it that everything we do, everything we are, offends them. To the point where a great many of them have said, death to America. If we don't want to convert to their way of thinking, to their way of living, to their way of religiously affecting their purpose, we should be immediately killed. It's either Islam or nothing. And yet our government still is accepting of these people. Governments all over the world are now in tatters. Germany is pitiful. We even learned earlier, the exec told me that, remember a few days ago, a story broke about some women over there in France. They were pulled over and they had a car load full of gas, containers and what have you. Their intent was to blow up the Eiffel Tower. They'll do it. Why? Because Frank Holland, or Francois Hollande, as they say, is stupid. The French government is stupid, just like our government. So if the Twin Towers came down, then the Eiffel Tower, it probably will come down too. Because these people all over the world are idiots. They see a blazing fire, and instead of running away from it, they'll run straight into it with no water, no sand, no fire retardant. They just run, oh, there's a fire, let's go run in it. It might be fun. Let's invite all these crazy people to our country and blow up our buildings and kill our people. It might be fun. Government is stupid. Very stupid. And the worst thing about it is it never improves. It just continues to disintegrate. The people that are elected to office are nothing. They're stupid. They're wastes of time. So, I asked that age-old question again. Are we any safer today than we were when 9/11 came to be? No. It's a funny thing how technology in our country can be so great, so grand, that if you miss a payment at the library, 20 years from now, they'll hunt you down and say, now you owed 10 cents back then for an overdue book. Now that 10 cents is parlayed into $1,000. It's a funny thing that the IRS can catch a $2 overpayment on your tax return and bill you for it 5 years later. Oh, well, you now owe $5,000 on that $2 overpayment with penalties and interest and what have you. We can do all of that. But yet, we can't govern properly who comes into our country. Or do we want to? See, as I've said before, and I guess it's become my motto now, in our country, there has been a problem with greed, with a healthy dose of stupidity mixed in, and that's the problem. You want to accept these people in for what? I don't know. We already have enough people on this rock. We don't really need any more. But you still want them to come. You talk about legal immigration. You talk about illegal immigration too. I say we don't need either. We've got enough people on this rock, both foreign and domestic, legal and illegal, friendly and unfriendly, murderous and not murderous, to do whatever it is we need to do, good, bad, or indifferent. Why must we keep accepting them? We're poor as a country. Oh, we're not poor, we're rich. Yeah, we're rich, but we're in a hell of a lot of debt. $20 trillion to be exact. You're bringing more and more people into the country, more and more and more. Yet we've got a vast number living on the streets of every major city in this country. It has become a pandemic, if you will. But yet you still want more to come in. Syrian refugees or refugees from anywhere. Known to come from countries where there are terrorists, known to be people that are capable of terrorism, known to be people that will slip in under the guise of refugeeism, but you still accept them and take food, shelter, and needed necessities from American people to set them up in the lap of luxury. Have we gotten any safer since 9/11? No. We've gotten to the point where we're just as soft as cotton. We've got a military that is now handcuffed from doing their duty. When they struck Pearl Harbor, we answered them with nukes. We took out Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And to this date, Japan has not messed with us since. Of course, they may start because, oh, bastard went over there and sucked up to them, licked them up, and apologized to them. But in the days of Patton, MacArthur, and all of those fellas back there, and Eisenhower, see, Eisenhower was an old general before he became president. He knew. We didn't take no mess. Look at what's going on over in Korea. This skinhead, pig-faced bastard, Kim Jong-kook, or whatever his name is, bastard. He keeps threatening, like so many impudent beach boys, flexing their muscle. What are you doing about it? Oh, well, we want to impose sanctions on him. He doesn't care about your money. The bastard's probably bankrolled and what have you. Doesn't care. His neighbor to the south, they're probably in cahoots with him. Oh, well, if they do it again, we're going to take him out. He's been doing it for the past 4 years and you haven't done anything. Your neighbors to the south. That's why I say all of them are in cahoots together. If we had Patton here, he'd probably nuke them. Get rid of the bastards. Spill their blood. Go through them like crap through a goose. We're not holding on to anything but the enemy. I feel sorry for that poor bastard. We're going to grab him by the nose and we're going to kick him in the ass. That's Patton. He wanted the war. He did what he had to do. He was an old war soldier. He said, I love it. I love it so. The whole world at war and I'm left out of it? Couldn't be an act of God. I will be allowed to fulfill my destiny. Where are the generals like that? They would have nuked this little punk. Well, he's not supposed to do that. We have a treaty. A treaty is just as good as a restraining order against somebody you don't want to be bothered with. It's only as good as the person who is willing to abide by it. Obviously, this little skin-haired bastard obviously does not want to abide by anything. He feels the world is his oyster and he's going to pick it. Stupid government. We got somebody in there like old bastard that would probably go over there and shake his hand and lick him up and say, well, we're sorry we don't have more of a country for you to bomb one day. Are we safer now than we were at 9/11? No. Will we be safer? Well, looking ahead to what is trying to be president or aspiring to be president, I would have to say a resounding hell no. You got the bitchery Clinton, who has the mindset of any idiot out of the nut house, I guess. She doesn't know what the little C in the brackets means, but she's equipped to run the country. Now they're pushing up her health. I guess there's something wrong with her. She seems to be stumbling here and there and coughing her head off. So either she's got TB, do you know what they say? TB is all right to have, but your friends treat you so low down. She either's got TB or something's wrong with her. And then there's this orange-haired chook, Donald Trump. He's put up his medical records for everyone to see. Won't do it with the tax records, but he'll put up his medical records. He's healthy. He's taking maybe some kind of blockers for high blood pressure or high cholesterol. But, 70-year-old guy, yeah, that's nothing. That's small potatoes. Well, here's my question. Has anybody checked his mental health lately? Because the guy is la-la-loo. He doesn't even stay in the same zip code as reality. I remember it coming out of his mouth some months ago. Oh, Black Lives Matter, they're weak, they're disgusting, they're ineffective. Till he found out that he needed Black Lives to help get him in the White House. So now I guess Black Lives Matter because he's frequented black churches and black communities trying to bolster votes for him to get into the White House. So I guess Black Lives Matter now. Bitchery Clinton wants to follow the same mandates as O'Bastard. That means trouble for the United States and her people, because that means more of the Muzzy Brotherhood coming over here to potentially do us harm. She wants to impose no-fly zones over Syria and all that, causing more problem over there that could be fallout for people over here. Is America safer since 9/11 because of something Bitchery Clinton might do? No. This orange-haired chook, Trump, he doesn't want to make America great again. He wants to make America white again. I'm surprised this bastard doesn't want to impose Jim Crow laws again. Take us all the way back to the 40s, early 50s, and 60s, where we had white folks drinking from one fountain and the black folks drinking from another. He's already got his Bull Connor ready to go in this Arpaio guy. Look at who he appeals to. I heard some of his, indistinctive chatter, shall we say, from his rallies when he's speaking about O'Bastard. Yeah, F that nigger, kill that nigger, and all of this kind of thing, and just so much violence and yeah, send that bitch to jail. That sick ass bitch, kill her. Nobody wants that bitch. That's who supports him. Make America white again. That's what he really means. He said that he was going to be the law and order candidate. Mocking, or not mocking, but mimicking Richard Nixon. I'm going to be the law and order, so we're gonna clean up this town. In other words, you darkies and you illegals and you anybody I don't necessarily like, you better check yourselves because the shaft is coming. So, are we going to be any safer because of him, Donald Trump, being in office? No. The guy is short-tempered, thin-skinned, has a garbage pail for a mouth. He will honestly go, and if a war isn't imminent, he'll start it. That'll be something against the United States. Look at who he looks up to. He looks up to people like Mussolini, and he looks up to people like Vlad Putin. Dictators. They've got control over their country. So he wants to be a dictator. He doesn't want to be a president. And I don't necessarily think that's going to sit well with the people of this country. So is anything going to get better for us because of who we put in office in future? No. Yes, the Phil Taylor Jones show supports Dr. Jill Stein, but, you know, as much as we support her and would love for her to be president, I don't see it happening. Sorrowful to say. We have too crooked, too corrupt, too rigged a political system, a political monster with this electoral college and super delegates and all this super PACs and this group and Soros and Krapos and all of these bastards and this muckety muck system to allow anybody that's going to be helpful to become our president. They pull out the dregs of society and they foist them upon us. Each one worse than the one before. You think old bastard is bad? Wait till you get Clinton in there. Because I believe she's going to be your one. If she has illness or health problems, if she doesn't croak before she gets there, she will get there. Now, whether or not she'll croak soon after, I don't know. But it's looking pretty much like she's still going to get it. Now, yeah, he's a little bit high in the polls, but, you know, he's still got to appeal to a greater sense of that electoral college, and a lot of these people that, you know, really mean something are not there for him. They're not there really for her, but it's at that either or, the lesser of two evils kind of thing. The people that will vote for her don't really like her, but they hate Trump worse. The same with Trump. The ones that will vote for him don't really like him, but they hate her worse. Well, that's a bad way to vote somebody in to run your country. But then what choice do we have? Somebody is going to be elected. We know that for sure. But for those of us who know better, we know that either one of these two that are up there to be elected are the worst possible thing that this country could have ever seen. So if you think, oh, bastard is bad, wait till you get one of these two dregs in there. Just like we thought with Bush. Oh, I can't stand George Bush. He's a tool. He got us into a war. He's did this. He's done this. He's the worst president ever. Yeah, and then oh, bastard came along. So each one that comes along is a little bit worse than the other one. So is America any safer today than it was when 9/11 hit? No. And I doubt that it ever will be. If we've got to look to a crooked, stupid, corrupt government to ensure that that happens. I say they need to put somebody in there like us. We don't need rich, slick, creepy lawyers. We don't need career politicians. We need somebody in there, salt of the earth, that can actually do something. Someone that recognizes who we are because they are us. Clinton is not us. She's a rich bitch who is crooked as the day is long and could care less about anybody in this country but her and her daughter and her stupid blowjob husband. This Trump fella, he's nothing but a bastard. He doesn't care about anybody. He's shown that time and time again. He only cares about himself. He's not fit to be a president, just like she isn't. I doubt if he would know what to do the first day he walks in there. One, because he's bullheaded and arrogant and a pompous ass. And that type of person, you can't really tell anything. Look at the history just in these year and a couple of months. His advisors have been advising him to do things a certain way. He goes head off like a bull in a china shop and wrecks everything. And that's what you want for a president? Either one of these two? And expect a wonderful outcome? Lots of luck with that one. We are in a mess. We are sitting on a powder keg. And there's fire all around. Things have blown up in our faces so many times under the regime of the current government we have. They fight amongst themselves. They can't agree on too much. You know, it's my idea is better than your idea. They're just like kids, all of them. And now we've got two major kids up for presidential office. In a hell of a mess. I shudder to think what's going to happen November the 8th. And even more so, I shudder to think what's going to happen after November the 8th. Hang on, folks. It's going to be one hellacious and bumpy ride. Exec, what do you got?
A bit of information, regarding the start of the show, concerning, how safe are we, and how safe, post and pre 9/11 and everything. Well, pre 9/11, there was only 2 attacks that are with Islamic on the United States soil. Post 9/11, there was about 7. So what does that tell you about before and after, if we're safe or not? There was the 1993 shootings at CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia, January 25, and February 26, 93, the World Trade Center bombing in the underground parking garage. But if you actually, this is just using the website Wikipedia. And if I use the Find on Page feature to find the words United States, there's 7 confirmed, terror attacks that happened post 9/11. So how exactly are we safe, post 9/11? Doesn't make any sense, We have July 4th, 2002, Los Angeles International Airport shooting, Islamic attack. We have, just give me a few minutes, I got to hit buttons to get to the next one. We have 2009 Little Rock recruiting office shooting of June 1st, Abdul Kahim Muhammad, 1 death. Didn't catch the first one before that. 3 deaths for that one, the first one I mentioned. Then there was 13 deaths, November 5, 2009, Fort Hood shooting at Fort Hood near Killeen, Texas. 13 dead, 33 injured. That's number 3. Number 4, Boston Marathon bombings, April 15, 2013. 3 dead, 183 injured, I believe, if I read this right. Number 5 would be October 23, 2014. Zale H. Thompson, also known as Zaim Farouk, we remember that name very well, Abdul Malik, attacked 4 New York policemen at a subway with a hatchet, severely injuring 1 in the back of the head, and another policeman in the arm before being shot to death by Romanian officers who also shot a civilian by accident. 5 injured, 1 dead. Number 6, May 3, 2015, 2 gunmen attacked the Curtis Colwell Center during a Drive Muhammad cartoon art exhibit in Garland, Texas. 2 dead, 1 injured. That seems like you're given a stick to crack your head with, trying to insult their religion, even though it deserves to be. Number 7, July 16, 2015, Chattanooga shootings. It doesn't say how many dead or injured. If I go to look, it'll mess up my path right here where I'm getting them in order, so I'll do that maybe later, maybe not. Number 8, if I'm not mistaken in my numbers here, December 2, 2015. No, it's supposed to be 7 altogether. So,
well, actually, there are 2 more that they didn't
I've got 2 more to go.
put on there, or at least they haven't gotten to yet.
Yes, there's some more coming up.
Oh, okay.
I think I messed up my numbers here because there's one here I'm about to mention. There's one that you're probably thinking of, which I know it is. So this is probably number 6, and I just jumped up to 8 for some reason. I mean, this is number 5, and I jumped up excuse me, let me see. I jumped up to 8 for some reason. This is number 6 because the 7th is the 7th one that happened post 9/11. December 2, 2015, in the 2015 San Bernardino attack, married couple Rizwan Farouk and Tashin Malik. Seemed like they mentioned that twice. That's why I had an extra number there. Shot and killed 14 people, injured 22 others in a killing spree that the FBI was investigating as an act of terrorism. And the final one, which is one you're probably thinking of, is June 12, 2016. 49 people were killed, 53 injured in a mass shooting in a nightclub in Orlando, Florida called Pulse. Omar Mateen pledged allegiance to ISIL by significantly calling police and journalists several times during the incident. So how exactly safe are we when we have less Islamic attacks before 9/11 and more after? It should have been the other way around. There shouldn't have been any at all, as you've mentioned, and I've agreed with and mentioned myself many times when speaking with each other. If you're going to be so bold as to shut down the air travel knowing you have to, as you said they needed to, then why not stop them from coming in here and checking to see if there's anyone's in here and getting them the hell out of here too, putting them in jail or some kind of way to isolate them to stop this from happening. You know, the United States does not have its own best interests at heart. It just cares about money because those people, foreigners, terrorists come in here and get jobs and make money off of our money, and that's a way to get money for them. You know, so it doesn't make a bit of sense. That's why we don't need these two idiots. You know, this Trump guy I read out recently speaking about the thing where she kind of had like 2 jolts and kind of fell out going into the van off the 9/11 tribute the other day. Trump was saying that once he gets her records and the supposed numbers from her physical, he's going to release it at this show with Dr. Oz or something like that. He's not willing to release his own tax records, yet he'll go into someone's personal life, which I don't think he should be allowed to have access to physicals unless I don't know.
It's supposed to be illegal.
Yeah, it's
You know,
supposed
what's
to be
between you and your doctor is confidential. And if he overrides that, they need to throw his orange-haired ass in under the jail.
It's supposed to be doctor-patient confidentiality, so how the hell is he going to get records like that? Who does he think he is? The government? They can get anything they want about anybody? But that's why we don't need anyone like that. You know, anybody can be sick. I'm not going to be ignorant and say, just like the other ignorant people, you know, well, she's not fit to be a president, because anybody's been sick before. You know, you've told me in previous shows, we told our viewers that other presidents have been sick and everything. Some people had wheelchairs, you know. So I'm not going to say that, but to have these two idiots chomping at the bit back and forth trying to get dirt on each other, unlike Jill Stein, who isn't doing that. She's only, I guess, stating the obvious, because I've seen on her website.
She's talking about the issues.
She's talking about the issues, and she's saying a few things about her being not competent to be president, but it's only based on facts about the emails and controversy and the problem she has with it. So she's not digging like the other ones are. She's got morals and scruples. And speaking of Jill Stein, I'll start with well, they're both good news, but I'll leave the best for last. Ballot access. Basically, after all this time, the September 10th update petition in all states has ended. They're on the ballot in 45 states, and there's also a write-in status for 3 states. So we basically got 97% of the country, 48 out of 50.
That's good.
States. And now for the real good news, the debates petition, as of now, has surpassed 100,000 signatures to the tune of 101,093 signatures.
That's good.
Regardless of what Trump says he's going to do, that'll help either way.
Like I said, it shows that. Well, let me let you finish. Oh, okay. It shows that Americans can pull together, you know, to rally behind someone that they believe in, and to rally against someone that we really don't need in the White House, being this orange-haired chook or this blonde-haired crook. But, you know, like I said, there's so many corrupt and rigged systems in place that, along with those 100,000+ signatures, there would need to be an eradication or some kind of amendment to this Bureau of Presidential Debates Administration to get rid of this 15% in the polls policy before a person can take the debate stage. That is ludicrous. But as long as that stays in place, then the 100,000+ signatures might be all in vain, because they have the administrative right to do whatever it is they want to do, no matter how crooked or unfair it is. So I'm hoping that, you know, something could be miraculous and we could get someone to be a president other than this crooked crook and this chook. Because like I said, I shudder to think what's going to happen to America if they make it. Will we be safer on any score? Not just on the prowess since 9/11, but will we be safe, period, with either one of these two at the helm? I would have to say an emphatic no. Look out for squalls, America, because if either one of these two are your choice, we're in a bad place. We thank you very much for joining us for the Phil Taylor Jones Show. We hope that your week is getting off to a good start. Keep that smile on your face, because that smile is a direct contradiction to all the bull crap in the world. So keep it on there. Don't let anyone make you frown, take away your joy in this la-la-loo land of craziness we live in, or world. Try to maintain an air of sanity and keep yourself safe. Try to dump the hate and increase the peace. We'll see you next time right here on the show. Bye-bye now.